Hi all, today we are going to start talking about multi-step inequalities. So in our binder, in our notes, we are on page 13 and 14. I would also have your calculator out. If you do not have your calculator with you, if you go to your Google Classroom and go to the link of my website, you guys can see that there is a Desmos calculator. I really like this calculator. I like it when I'm doing anything on the computer and I don't have a calculator with me. I also really like when I'm doing a math problem, it'll convert it from a decimal quick to a fraction. So I really like that. So today we are going to be on page 13 and 14. Okay, so this is something that you guys have done before. The only thing new is that variables can be on both sides now, so just making sure we feel comfortable with what an inequality is, how to solve an inequality, how to graph the solution to it, and then we'll do some more problems later. So first we just have the symbols. We are going to write what they are and then also graph them just on a number line. So greater than means that the first thing is bigger than the second, and so we use the greater than symbol. The greater than or equal to symbol, the first thing is bigger, or it could be equal to. All right. Then for less than, the first thing is smaller, so we'll flip the sign. And then less than or equal to would be the first thing is smaller than the second thing, or it could be equal to. Now, when we graph on a number line, the greater than symbol, we're saying that the first thing is bigger, okay? But it could not be that number or whatever. So we use an open dot because it's not equal to that value, and it is going to be greater than, so we shade to the right for greater. For greater than or equal to, it could be that value, so we use a solid dot in this case, and still greater than, so we will shade bigger or greater to the right. Right. For less than, we're talking about smaller. It cannot be that actual value, so we use an open dot, and we shade to the left to show less or smaller. And finally, less than or equal to, solid dot, shade less than or left. All right, so here are the steps to solve a multi-step inequality. First, if there is any distribution, we will distribute. And if there is any combining like terms, then we will also do that. Then if we have variables on both sides, we will need to move it onto one side. Again, we do that by either adding or subtracting. Then after that, it will look like just like a two-step. So we will collect the constants or the regular numbers on one side, and then we will just solve the inequality. Okay? The only thing that changes when solving an inequality is sometimes we flip the symbol. So back in 6th grade and in 7th grade, you guys learned that when you multiply or divide by a negative number, then you have to flip the symbol when we're solving. All right, so we will keep that in mind as we are doing some of these problems. Some of them you will not have to flip. Some of them you will have to flip. All right, so we're gonna do a couple problems, making sure that we feel good. These are from 7th grade, 8th grade, and then on the back, we're gonna do variables on both sides. So we're gonna check it, we're gonna graph it. So just like an equation, we are gonna combine like terms if it's on the same side of the symbol. So we have 4x, negative 2x, which would be 2x. We have 26 and 11, which would be 37. And that amount, 2x plus 37, is larger than 49. Then from there, we're going to get rid of the constant. So plus 37, we will subtract it away. 49 minus 37 is 12. And then we divide by what we see. So we see a 2, so we will divide by 2. We divide it by a positive number, so we're not flipping anything, and we get the answer of 6. Okay. Now, I'm not going to check every single one of these, but I'm just going to give you guys like how to do it. So I'm saying that x is greater than 6. So first, let's graph it. So here's 6. You could graph more numbers if you want. Okay. But x is any number that is greater than 6. It can't be 6. It's not or equal to. So I will use an open dot at 6. Okay. And x can be any number greater than. So this solution is being represented by shading to the right. Okay. So for a check, what you guys need to do is just come up with a number that is greater than 6. So you could pick 7, you could pick 12, you could pick 6.1. All of those numbers are greater than 6. They are not actually equal to 6 though. So let's just, let's try 10. I like 10, I like 0, I like those easier numbers. So we will go back to the original problem. So 4x plus 26 minus 2x plus 11. And we want to check to see, is that value greater than 49? So we are going to see if 10 makes that true. Okay, so we'll use order of operations, and we will first multiply 4 and 10, which is 40, negative 2 and 10, which make negative 20. Then I'm going to add and get 66. I'm going to add and get negative 9. And 66 minus 9, which would be 57. And 57 is greater than 49. So that solution works. So we could check every single, there's an infinite number of problems that are numbers, that we could plug in, it would work. So we're not going to check it every single time, but it is how you could do it. All right. Then this problem, we have negative 2x plus negative 2, times 3x plus 15, and as that is less than or equal to 42. So first we are going to distribute like always. We get negative 6x, negative 30. Okay, now we are going to solve it like normal. So we are going to do the inverse of negative 30. That's a 42. Okay. We get negative 6x less than or equal to 72. Then we are going to divide by negative 6. But because we just divided by a negative number, we need to flip the symbol. So x, and we will flip this symbol over so it is greater than or equal to. And then we do 72 divided by negative 6, and we get negative 12. And x is greater than or equal to negative 12. Again, we could check any number that is greater than negative 12. We could check 0, and if we're right, we should get a true statement. But we're going to go ahead and graph it. So negative 12. You can put other numbers if you would like. Okay. For this one, it can be 12, so we are going to use a solid dot. And we are talking about any number of x that is greater than that. So we will shade to the right to show greater. All right, this problem has distributing and combining like terms. So we are going to do that. So first we will distribute 6 times x, 6 times negative 8. Then we will combine like terms. They are on the same side of the equal sign, so we can do that. We get 4x, negative 38 plus 10, which would be negative 38. That is still less than 2. Then we will add 38. Four x is less than 40. We will divide by 4. And because we divided by a positive number, we don't have to flip anything. 40 divided by 4 is 10. So x is anything that is less than 10. So we will write 10. Okay. It cannot be 10, so we will use an open dot to show it cannot be 10, and then we will shade to the left to show less than. All right, we're going to do 3 more, and then you guys are going to do the rest of the page. If you feel like you don't need to listen to me, that's totally fine. You just need to have the rest of page 14 completed for class tomorrow. All right, so these problems are very similar. It's just now we have x's on both sides. So we are still going to go through the same process. We still flip the sign if we multiply or divide by a negative number, but we're just adding the other half to it with variables on both sides. So we will distribute. Okay, now I will always move the variable that is smaller. So to me, I'm going to move this negative 6x. You can move the negative 5x, that's fine. But I just like to move the smaller amount. That's just me. So I'm going to add 6x to 2 is less than negative 5x plus 6x would be 1x plus 14. Now from here, we are going to just subtract 14. 2 minus 14, which is negative 12, is less than x, or 1x. So our answer is this, okay? Negative 12 is less than x. Now, most of us can interpret this. Me personally, I like to always have the x first. That helps me with when I'm interpreting the solution. So I will flip it around, and I just need to make sure that the x is still the larger thing. So x is the bigger amount. So x is larger than negative 12. Okay. If you decided to move this over to the left-hand side, you should also get the same exact answer. All right, for the number line, here is negative 12. It cannot be negative 12, but it is anything bigger than that. All right, number 2 for this one, we are going to distribute first. So we see this negative being multiplied by x minus 41. So we are going to distribute a negative. Negative 41 will be a positive 41. Okay. Now for this problem, I'm going to move the smaller one. So negative x is smaller than 9x. So I'm going to move that to negative. So I will add to make it 0. 9x and x would make a 10x. Then from there, we will just solve it, get rid of the 19. (41 minus 19, which would be 22. Divide by 10. We divided by a positive 10, so we don't need to flip the sign. And then 22 divided by 10, which would be 2.2. Okay. Again, if you guys solved it the other way, maybe you moved the 9x, you should still get 2.2. That x is smaller than the 2.2. Okay, both of these are right. Me personally, I like to interpret it from left to right with the x. Just make sure that if you're flipping things around, you're keeping it consistent. So for the number line, 2.2, it's not. It is equal to 2.2, but it could also be less than, so we will shade to the left. All right, and then the last problem is just one with a bunch of stuff. So we are going to first distribute negative 4 to 3, negative 4 to 3x. Then we have 6 to 4, and then 6 to negative x. Okay. Again, I like to move this smaller amount, so I'm going to move this negative 12x. that would be plus 6x. Then I'm going to subtract the 24. Then I'm going to divide by 6. For me, I'm dividing by a positive 6, so I don't need to flip the sign. So we get -4 is greater than x, or x is less than -4. Okay? If you decided to move this one, you would solve it the same way, but then you would have to flip the sign because it would be something like that. When I would add 6x, then I would add 12. I would get 36. I would divide by -6. So I'm getting the same answer. It just depends on how you guys like to do it. So when you guys show your work, that's how I can kind of see if something maybe got mixed up or anything. So for tomorrow, guys, I'm just asking you guys to do these 6 problems. You could graph them if you want. You don't have to. And then number 7, which is just like a problem. You have to see which ones would work. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.